Peace summits are meant to symbolize hope, moments where civilizations set aside their differences to negotiate, collaborate, and build a better future. Across the galaxy, representatives gather with open hands instead of weapons, projecting trust and diplomacy. Yet, there is one detail that has always puzzled other worlds. Why does Earth never bring its military to peace summits? At first glance, it seems like a simple commitment to peace. Many assume humanity has learned from its violent past and chosen to leave its weapons behind as a gesture of goodwill. But the truth is far more complex and far more unsettling. A tradition that raises questions. Other civilizations often arrive at summits with at least a ceremonial guard. These forces are not there to intimidate, but to symbolize sovereignty and readiness. For many species, displaying controlled strength is part of diplomacy. It reassures allies and warns potential adversaries. Humanity, however, does the opposite. Earth's representatives arrive unarmed. No fleets in orbit. No soldiers standing at attention. No visible defense systems. At first, this was admired. It was seen as a bold statement. Humanity trusts the process. Humanity believes in peace. But over time, that admiration turned into curiosity and eventually suspicion. The hidden reputation of humanity. To understand Earth's decision, one must first understand humanity's reputation beyond its home planet. Humans are known across the stars not for their diplomacy, but for their unpredictability. Their history is filled with conflict, rapid technological advancement, and a willingness to adapt under pressure. They are not the strongest species, nor the most advanced, but they are among the most dangerous when provoked. This contradiction confuses other civilizations. Why would a species known for resilience and warfare choose to appear completely defenseless in the most politically sensitive environments? The answer lies not in what is seen, but in what is deliberately unseen. Peace summits are not what they seem. While peace summits are presented as neutral grounds, they are far from risk-free. Behind the formal speeches and diplomatic smiles lies a silent competition of influence, intelligence gathering, and strategic positioning. Most species prepare for this. They bring security forces, surveillance systems, and contingency plans. Even in peace, they plan for the possibility of betrayal. Humanity does too, but in a fundamentally different way. The illusion of vulnerability. Earth's greatest strength in diplomacy is not force, it is perception. By arriving without visible military presence, humanity creates an illusion of vulnerability. This lowers the guard of others. It encourages openness, reduces tension, and shifts the tone in negotiations. Other delegates feel safer, less threatened, more willing to speak freely. But this is not naivety. It is strategy. Because while Earth does not bring its military, it does not mean its military is absent. Invisible defense systems. Humanity's approach relies heavily on covert protection. Advanced stealth technologies, remote surveillance, and off-site response units ensure that Earth's representatives are never truly unprotected. These systems are rarely detected, and even when they are difficult to trace. In many cases, Earth's military presence exists just beyond the threshold of perception, far enough to remain invisible, close enough to act instantly if needed. This allows humanity to maintain the image of peace while retaining the ability to respond to threats with overwhelming efficiency. Psychological advantage. There is also a psychological dimension to this strategy. When a heavily armed delegation enters a summit, it sends a clear message: we are prepared for conflict. This can create tension, mistrust, and defensive behavior from others. Humans avoid this entirely. By appearing unarmed, they shift the burden of aggression onto others. If conflict arises, the party that escalates first is immediately seen as the aggressor. This gives Earth a powerful moral advantage in any dispute. In diplomacy, perception often matters more than reality, and humanity understands this better than most. A lesson learned from history. Earth's strategy is deeply rooted in its past. Human history is filled with examples of failed negotiations, broken treaties, and wars that began under the guise of peace. Over centuries, humanity learned that visible strength can sometimes provoke conflict rather than prevent it. They also learned something else. The most effective defense is not always the one that is seen. This philosophy has shaped Earth's modern approach to diplomacy. Instead of projecting power, they conceal it. Instead of intimidating, they disarm, at least on the surface. Trust as a weapon. Perhaps the most surprising aspect of Earth's strategy is its use of trust. By refusing to bring visible military forces, humanity forces others to make a choice, respond with trust, or reveal their own paranoia. This creates a subtle pressure. If another civilization arrives heavily armed, it risks appearing hostile in contrast to Earth's openness. If it chooses to scale back its defenses, it becomes more vulnerable. Either way, humanity gains an advantage. In this sense, trust itself becomes a tool, a carefully managed resource that can influence the behavior of entire civilizations. The real reason. So why does Earth never bring its military to peace summits? Because it doesn't need to. Humanity has redefined what military presence means. It no longer relies on visible displays of force. Instead, it uses intelligence, technology, and psychological strategy to achieve the same, if not greater, level of security. The absence of soldiers is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of control, a quiet warning. There is an unspoken message behind Earth's approach, one that many civilizations eventually come to understand. If humanity does choose to show its military openly, it will not be for diplomacy. It will be because diplomacy has failed. And by then, it may already be too late. Conclusion. Earth's decision to leave its military out of peace summits is not an act of idealism. It is a calculated strategy shaped by centuries of experience. By appearing unarmed, humanity lowers tensions, gains psychological leverage, and maintains moral authority. At the same time, it ensures its safety through unseen means, proving that true strength does not always need to be displayed. In the end, the real reason is simple. Earth doesn't bring its military to peace summits because it has already mastered a far more powerful weapon: perception.